body language isn't as important as it's made out to be. It's not as important as people say it is because it's challenging. Most people don't do it, and it isn't always successful. It is foundational for flirting though, and if you want to be the most attractive guy out of your guy friends, and if you want to impress someone that you're attracted to. It brings me back to high school, the good old days. It brings me back to high school because my mates would hit each other, they'd push each other, and I never had the confidence to do this because I was always afraid that they would think that I did something wrong or they would get angry at me. So I would never do it. That actually backfired on me, and I became considered a little bit weird and like socially ostracized for it. To avoid this, you gotta understand about open body language. Open body language, if you don't know, is what I'm doing now. My arms are out wide, my chin is up higher, my legs are shoulder width apart, and my chest is up. If you have open body language, you're perceived as more powerful. You can be seen as more confident and therefore attractive because of this. And more importantly, when you have open body language, you're seen as more friendly and approachable because suddenly you go from being like this and all closed in to being out and willing to talk to people. It's pretty obvious why. I mean, your body language really is a sign of your confidence, and that's what I really want to talk about in today's video, because if you're not open body language and you're not expressive with it, then people can't really tell how you're feeling. And so if you're always inside like this, you're gonna seem insecure maybe, or shut out is the better term. And that's what I used to be like. So in order to not do that, there are a few things that I'll talk about. Before that, think of the athlete Michael Jordan, Messi, and David Beckham. Michael Jordan in 1988, he did a slam dunk contest in which in the free throw line, he dunked. His arm went up like this, his legs went both ways, doing pretty much a split in the air. He looked like a fucking triangle. Messi, his arms were up like this. David Beckham, he did a power slide and his arms went up like this as well. So these are all wide, really powerful, expansive, open body language movements. And they kind of tell everyone to, oh, hey, look at me, by the way. I'm really proud of what I've just done. And that's actually what they end up doing. It's instinctual, and it's what humans do. If someone does something really big and expansive, we look. That's just how it is. To practice this, you can do something called the Superman pose, and this doesn't have to be in public. It can be at your own home, in the privacy of your own room. And by doing this pose, which is essentially this, keeping your chin up high, your arms up from your sides, your legs shoulder width apart, and your chest up, you become more confident and can be perceived as more confident. There was a video I watched a year ago with Tony Robbins, and he was basically explaining that if you hold that pose for about 1 minute, you become more confident psychologically, and psychologically you reduce anxiety. The same thing, essentially. I understand the hard part about the body language thing that I'm talking about now with open body language is moving your arms. So what can you do with your arms to sort of feel more confident and comfortable? Well, you can use your arms to rest on stuff and expand out like you would do on your couch at home, or you can touch someone in not a weird way, or you can push someone in not a weird way, or you can gesticulate with your hands like I'm doing now to communicate what I'm saying and make it easy to follow along. And what I want you to understand before we go into anything else is that when you take up space, and you're using open body language to take up space because that's going to convey confidence, don't invade other people's space. There's no need for that at all. I did this one time in front of my friends, to my friend that I wasn't actually that close to at the time. And it kind of made things uncomfortable between me and him because my arm was on the back of the couch and we were just relaxing, but he was next to me. He was like, you could see that he was clearly uncomfortable because his space had been invaded. So don't do what I did, because it does the reverse of seeming confident and friendly. It makes you seem aggressive. It's not what you want to seem like. So going on that point, if you want to use your arms to rest on stuff, rest on the back of a couch, or if you're sitting at a table, you can put your arms on the table like this. Not sure if you can see this fully, but basically just do this. Rest your arms like that. there was no point in me doing that, but anyway, that's fine. That's what you can do. Open body language reverses feelings of anxiety and is the reason that actors and athletes are so confident and magnetic on stage. So if you think about it, actors their entire lives, or if they've been doing their entire lives, for however long they've been doing it, they've been training to be a certain character and audition a certain way and convey themselves in a certain way so they can seem the best for the role. A lot of these characters that they're auditioning for are confident characters. Generally speaking, they're confident characters because they want one of the main roles. They've been training for their entire lives, so that's why they seem so good on stage. In order for you to become not on the same level, unless you want to be, but getting to their level, you've got to practice body language like they do. They already know this stuff. They've been practicing it for as soon as however long they've been trying to act for. So the next part of what I'm talking about with body language is expressive body language. So what I've been doing at the start hasn't only been open body language, it's been expressive as well, because over the past year I've been developing the way that I convey myself and the way my hands move and the way that I talk with people. And this can change depending on the person that you want to be or what sort of mood you're in at the time. But generally what I'm talking about with expressive body language is getting comfortable in your own skin. So you hear a lot early in your life, or you might have heard before, he's not comfortable in his skin, that person's not comfortable in their skin. This essentially means that that person isn't really out of his shell yet, and he's really rigid and not loose. Expressive body language, I want you to loosen up and learn from people that are quite expressive with how they feel and their facial emotions, like how they express stuff. If they're smiling a lot or if they're moving their body around a lot. Do this with celebrities and athletes as well. But before that, the ways you can do this further are, touch someone's arm like I was saying before in like a light way, and then push your mate, in a playful way, and then punch your mate in a playful way as well. Not too hard, but get a feel for it after you've tried it out a couple of times in your family or someone you're really comfortable with. This way you can have more fun in conversations. Expressive body language, essentially the whole point of it is so you can have fun and be more confident. This is the level above open body language, and it's when you want to enjoy interactions much more. So the idea that people generally have when they leave home, they don't know how to have fun, but the secret of having fun when you leave the house is done through face-to-face interactions. And it's pretty frightening at first, but if you want to enjoy going out, practicing expressive body language, like pushing your friends or like punching, or just doing some like wild, crazy dance move or something like that, just expressive body language movements can make everything significantly more fun outside of your house. And if you're naturally introverted like I am, it's something that can really, really help you get out of the shell and more introverted as a person, which I think is a great life skill to have because it's really useful in interviews and generally every kind of success in your life with people. To practice what I've talked about, you can do the Superman pose, but for expressive body language, once you move past the open body language stage, you can pick a celebrity or athlete, I guess they come into the same field, but pick one of those two and sort of watch some of their interviews or their videos and take on what they do, just one of the things they do with their arms or their hands, and try it out in a normal conversation in your life. When I did this a year ago, I picked young Philly, who's a YouTuber, and he's focused really on comedy and being lighthearted. He's not the best example, but he is naturally pretty funny and lighthearted. So by me choosing him, I learned a few things, and I don't use any of his stuff now, but that was my starting place. And if you want to go for someone more like relaxed, you can do Jack Harlow from the last video that I talked about him in, or you can do someone like Obama if you want to be more like taken seriously and powerful, because he's a public speaker. He has a lot of good points for that. And choose who you want to choose. And if you don't know who to take inspiration from, just you've got to think about who you think is an admirable celebrity, and then even if you don't want to take any of his stuff, just move on to the next person. It might take you longer than you might be comfortable with, but that's just how it's going to have to be at the start. So courage can change any outcome.